If you've often wondered why your emails are underperforming, maybe you've had a few good months in the past and then now your results have gone down, you've tried to scour the internet and you can't find anything that aligns with your brand. In this video, I'm going to be breaking every step down as to why your emails could be underperforming and what we can do to fix that. We'll go through that later on in the video with all the solutions and breaking it down step by step. Problem number one is you're not bringing enough traffic into your website. So this happens a lot with brands where they have a really good solid couple of months, they get really good email revenue, and then results start to plummet in months 3, 4, 5, whatever it could be. Reason being is you're not bringing enough people through onto your website. We'll be breaking these steps down later in the video, but I'm just going to do a brief overview of each point. So you're not bringing enough people through to your sites. We need to be focused on bringing consistent traffic. So whether that's through ads, so paid ads, we've got Meta, Google, even YouTube. And we can also go down the organic route as well, which is YouTube, Instagram, things like this. They also need to be qualified people that you're bringing into your website. So a lot of people, they do use different offers. They are bringing in unqualified leads, and these people aren't going to be likely to purchase. We'll break this down as well later. If you have no traffic, no people on your list, no one's going to be seeing your emails. It sounds pretty obvious, but emails are great and they don't work miracles. Just teeing on to this, if you have a few good couple of months with your current email list, the reason why your results dip down is because you're sending the same content, well, the same kind of products to the same people, and you can't expect this number to keep increasing or stay the same. More than likely, if the list isn't growing, your revenue is either going to decrease or stay the same over time. Problem number two is what a lot of brands will fall guilty of, and that's not sending enough frequency of emails in their campaigns. So inconsistency of your emails is going to lead to poor deliverability over time because you're just not having enough touch points. You're not sending enough frequent emails to build trust with your email provider. And more than likely, your emails are getting lost in the customer's inbox. So you can imagine what this inbox looks like. If you're only sending one email a week, if that, your email is definitely going to go missed. As we can see, this email here, we had all these emails on the 22nd of March, and on the next day, we had 6 emails within the space of the first morning. Problem number 3, a lot of brands, they kind of think they go down the route of making emails look pretty. But if you're lacking strategy and you're lacking creative ideas, these emails are going to start underperforming over time as time increases because your emails need to speak to your customers. Why should they buy from you? They don't just want to see a product catalog because these are going to get boring. They want to be also reading your emails after they've purchased or even not in the market, so you need to be providing value constantly all year round. Problem number 4 is something which goes quite unmissed in the email community is your brand actually suitable to scale email marketing? And this sounds stupid me saying, every single brand can utilize email marketing. For example, they can use it for the post purchase, you can use it for catching abandoned carts and things like this. However, if your store doesn't have a reason for people to come back quick, so if you're selling something like sunglasses, suitcases, you can't expect to scale this number crazily because you're only selling one product and people are only purchasing, say, every 1 year, every 2 years. So your results are going to be a lot less compared to a brand where they've got people coming back monthly, like supplements, hair care products, anything where people are coming back to replenish. These results are going to be a lot better. So please have realistic expectations to what your brand is actually going to generate when it comes to email. So problem number 1 was the bringing up enough traffic. So if you go to resolution number 1 is getting onto your ads team, running more creatives, testing more creatives, spending more, do whatever it takes to win. This sounds like a really basic answer and a little cop out to this question. However, this is all it comes down to. If you're not bringing in consistent traffic every single day, you can't expect your brand to grow. You can't expect to scale email. So this needs to be your number 1 priority. Email can take a back burner on this. Just send a couple campaigns a week. They can be text-based emails. They don't need to be something crazy, but that gives you enough time to start focusing on bringing in consistent leads every single day. In match to this as well, we want to be capturing as many leads as possible. So we want to be using something called ManyChat. What this can do is it can actually set automations up with your Instagram to send your new followers a link to say, here's 10% off, sign up to our mailing list. That can really help drive some more signups as well. We also want to have an optimized pop-up form as well. A great one is Alia. It's a little bit on the pricier side of things, but you can get forms that look like this. And they do really have really cool incentives where you can do scratch off, spin to wins, and they are a lot better than what Klaviyo installs. They also have a lot better testing facilities which link with AI. So even you can run tests on things, and it can also base it off revenue generated as opposed to just signups, which is obviously more important in the long run. You also need to have a good offer as well. So give people a reason to sign up. The crazier offer you have, the more people that are going to sign up. So if you're struggling to get people to sign up and you want to build that list from the get-go, you can put a higher ticket offer on there, maybe make it more appealing to people just to get people through the door and start working your email list like that. That's kind of a breakdown for problem 1, focusing on driving more traffic and capturing as many leads as possible by implementing all these things here. The other solution to Alia is you can actually make forms very similar to this in Klaviyo, but you just have less customability and it does look a little bit clunkier, but it's definitely worth testing. These full screen ones and these mini quizzes have been working really, really well for the brands that we've been working with. And I would definitely suggest testing something like this out for your brand. Problem number 2 was not sending enough emails. And this sounds literally as simple as possible. It is just send more emails. However, I'm going to break it down to how you can actually make it more manageable for yourself. So if you need to use templates, although they're not great, you can actually add these and do so because it's just going to save you a lot of time. Even using AI to help you generate copy, headlines, things like this. It's just anything to get you through the door because what this is going to help you do is stay on top of mind with your customers. It's also going to help you keep a good deliverability as well because when you're consistently sending campaigns to your engaged audience, let's say your flows are underperforming, they're not getting a good click-through rates, they're not getting good opens. This is going to help counter that and help you stay on top of the ball with deliverability. So when it gets to a point where you want to scale email, you start putting more effort, you're going to start seeing the results instantly. So don't be afraid that even if you don't see results instantly with sending stuff like this, it's going to help you in the long run. Trust me, it's going to pay dividends. Stick to 2 to 3 emails a week minimum. Anything more than this is a bonus, but you really want to be aiming for 3 emails a week. This can also be just done by sending value. So you can be sending guides, how to. These emails are really going to help keep your audience engaged because you want them to get the most out of your product. So even if they've either purchased your product or they're not even in the market, you still want people to read and engage with your email because you're then staying on top of mind. You're still staying in touch with your audience. So these guides here, let's say, for example, you're selling supplements and it could be something focused on how to concentrate more. These things people are going to be interested in. They're more than likely going to read. Even if they don't purchase your product, you're then on top of mind. They're then in your ecosystem. They're opening your emails. They're interacting with things. And this is just going to help you so much more. Text-based emails are also another good thing as well. So if you don't have the time for designs, these text-based emails can be done very, very quickly. They crush it all the time and they take literally little time of yours. You can just use AI if you want to. I would suggest upping the copy on this because something like this, obviously we're just sending copy, you're going to be reliant more on what's actually included. So you want to make sure that you've got good copy. Ultimately, you want to be hiring an agency that's going to be handling this for you if you can't handle it yourself. Sending minimum of 3 emails per week. Obviously, anything more than this, make sure your agency is on board with this. Cheap and low quality labor is just going to bring in cheap quality results. We see this all the time when we audit brands. They've got some cheaper agency or they're using freelancers. And because they're not charging enough money, they don't have enough time to dedicate on the account. So they're missing emails each week. They're not sending high quality emails and the content just generally is poor. So they're just not seeing the results in the long term. We do actually have an offer as well, where it's $97 per email. I'll leave the link for this in the description below, where you can test out our services for $97 and see how we get on. Problem number 3 was emails look good, but they lack strategy. So more than likely your emails do suck, and this is the case for a lot of brands. It's all good, well and good having good looking emails if that's the case, but they need to be able to sell, they need to handle objections, and they need to convert people, not just sit there and look pretty. So what a lot of brands, they get caught in the trap of looking at what the bigger brands are doing. And I actually made a video on this going through Gymshark's email marketing. So I'll give you a quick breakdown on that. So you can imagine Gymshark, they're going to look up to Gymshark as if they're doing really good with their marketing. And for the most part, they are because they're driving really good traffic. They're obviously a multi-billion-dollar brand. However, how Gymshark treats their customers is different to how you're going to treat yours. Gymshark has that much social proof, that many reviews, that much traffic driving through their website that they don't need to sit there and be like, well, you should buy my product because this, and this. The only objection Gymshark is ever going to have is if people have got enough money in their bank to afford the product at the time, because obviously a lot of their audiences are university students themselves, so they're kind of waiting for those paycheck. Your audience is going to be a little bit different because you might not be a market leader. You need to obviously go through why people should choose you over someone that's at the top and at the market leader. So yeah, go ahead and watch this video. I'll give you a quick breakdown there. Problem number 4 was, is your brand actually suitable for email? And this sounds a bit vague saying I didn't really touch on it earlier. However, I'm going to break it down a little bit more for you right now. So number 1, you need to be realistic with, is your product something people are actually going to come back and keep purchasing? Because if it's not, you're not going to be seeing exponential growth when it comes to email marketing. So often when you see these case studies of 35%, 40%, even 50% of people's revenue coming from email, more than likely they're running a store where people can keep coming back. So for example, supplement stores, obviously once their capsules have run out, they're obviously going to want to come and repurchase some more. Even fashion brands, obviously if they bought their autumn wear and it comes around to summer, they're going to obviously want to get some summerwear. So you need to be realistic with your thoughts on email. Is that me saying that email won't work for your brand? Absolutely not. It's still going to be very profitable and it's still going to help you increase your revenue. But we want to be focusing on a different kind of email marketing. For example, we want to be focused on your high driving revenue flows. So this is going to be your welcome flow and all your abandoned series. These are going to be the most important thing for you and your brand to scale your email, because abandoned series is going to bring you so much more money if you have a really dialed in set of flows. That's going to help you capture abandoned carts, capture abandoned checkouts, even people browsing and coming onto the site. This is going to obviously help you increase your store revenue as a massive thing as well. And then when it comes to sending campaigns, the way you need to be structuring your campaigns is a lot different to how you'd be selling a normal brand, because if you're only selling a handful of products, you're not going to have cross sales or upsells or even just a best sellers, like a bunch of best sellers. Your kind of whole email marketing should be focused on objection handling, reviews, case study, and then free value as well. These are the things that you want to be focusing on. These are things that you want to be focused on, as opposed to just sending like your broadcast messages where it has like, all your products, new releases, things like this that other brands are doing. You're always going to be focused on getting people over the line as opposed to keeping people in retention. I hope all this made sense. If you are interested in kind of learning a little bit more about emails, feel free to use the link below and we can audit your brand's email account completely for free. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, we actually have the offer where we're doing $97 per email. So that means you just send us how many emails you want. We can do a bundle of 5 and a bundle of 10 as well. And we can get those designed working alongside you as well, with no retainer, no upfront fees, and no commitment as well. Just focus on straight results. That link will be in the description as well. And thank you for watching the video, and we'll catch you on the next one.